Lingyun Sect has a cute and soft junior sister, and everyone is excited. Pet must be spoiled. Pete to death. So various spiritual fruits, storage rings, elixirs, defense tools. Don't send them like spiritual stones. But when they saw the young junior sister's return, everyone looked bewildered. This junior sister has a really rich family background. After only a few days of happiness, everyone realized that the little junior sister was either practicing or urging them to practice. Afterwards, it became more and more excessive. As soon as she opened her eyes, the little junior sister smiled and asked, "Are you practicing today?" Just as they were about to be driven crazy, they suddenly realized that the sect seemed invincible. Practice, it's so fragrant. Keywords of the novel. My soft and cute junior sister is too voluminous with no pop-ups. My soft and cute junior sister is too voluminous with TXT complete collection download. My soft and cute junior sister is too voluminous with the latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Traversing the Malicious supporting actress. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Traversing the Malicious supporting actress Qingyun Prefecture. The Sect Assembly. Feng Qingran was headache-stricken by the chattering voices. A group of future masters in the cultivation world were so talkative when they were young. Suddenly, Feng Qingran felt someone pulling at her sleeve and looked down at a little loli. Little loli said softly, "Sister, do you want to join the Heavenly Sword sect?" Where does green tea come from? In the moment when Feng Qingran was stunned, she suddenly realized that this person was the female lead. Su Yanran. 3 days ago, when she woke up, she found herself wearing a book and dressed up as the malicious female supporting character in the book. Feng Qingran. In the original work, Feng Qingran participated in the sect assessment at the age of 11, but her qualifications were mediocre and she was eliminated. The kind-hearted female protagonist used the privilege of first place to take her into the Tianjian sect. After entering the Tianjian sect, she did not know how to be grateful. Instead, she hated the female leader. She had a deep relationship with the female leader's sisters on the surface, but secretly she always framed the female leader. He even poisoned the female lead multiple times, causing her to almost die. After these things were exposed, she still did not repent and directly colluded with the demon clan, harming her fellow disciples. Finally, the female protagonist could no longer bear it, abolished her cultivation, and expelled her from the Heavenly Sword sect. As soon as she was expelled from the sect, she was captured by the female protagonist's admirers, imprisoned, and subjected to inhumane torture. Afterwards, they cut off her limbs, dug out her spiritual roots, and threw her body to the back mountain to feed the beasts. The outcome can be described as very tragic, so the first thing she did when she entered the book was to avoid the female lead in the sect assessment. Who would have thought she wouldn't go find the female lead, but the female lead came to find her. She suspects that the female lead belongs to the dog, otherwise why is her nose so sharp? Sister, don't have any worries. I am the top scorer in this assessment, and I can bring an additional person into the sect. Would sister be willing to accompany me? Su Yanran waited for a while, but Feng Qingran didn't speak, so she spoke again. Feng Qingran rolled her eyes, her worries were impossible, and she didn't want to go to the Heavenly Sword sect. She is a malicious female supporting figure, following the female lead is not a safe way to become a big villain. Feng Qingran was extremely grateful that she had been reading before the plot began and could freely choose where to go. Su Yanran's face darkened when she saw Feng Qingran ignoring her. However, when she saw the jade bracelet on Feng Qingran's wrist, she remembered her purpose and smiled, saying, "Sister, why are you ignoring me? My surname is Feng, your surname is Su, and I am 1 month younger than you." Feng Qingran wanted to pull her sleeve back from Su Yanran's hand, but found that Su Yanran was holding it even tighter. Su Yanran blinked her innocent eyes and looked at Feng Qingran, "Sister, do you hate me?" Ouch, Feng Qingran almost didn't spit it out. Please, could you switch to someone else to cause trouble? Feng Qingran thought that with her attitude, Su Yanran would definitely take the initiative to leave. She never expected that Su Yanran would just be shamelessly trying to persuade her to join the Heavenly Sword sect. Su Yanran heard Feng Qingran's vomiting, her expression slightly stunned, and a hint of malice flashed in her lowered eyes. Feng Qingran was really ignorant and dared to insult her like this. When she received the jade bracelet, she asked the Su family to deal with Feng Qingran. You die of this heart, I won't go to the Heavenly Sword sect with you. Feng Qingran forcefully pulled back her sleeve. Cherish life and stay away from the female lead. At the thought of the tragic death of the original owner in the book, Feng Qingran felt a chill towards Su Yanran. Su Yanran can build a great road in any way, but she cannot step on innocent people to soar. When she first read this book, she didn't like the three perspectives of the female protagonist in the book. She couldn't understand this kind of brainless novel. Why did she stay up late to finish reading it? Then sadly, when she woke up from sleep, she became the vengeful female supporting character in the book. Feng Qing's eyes turned cold as she dyed them. She would never become a tool for Su Yanran's path to immortality. Her life must be under her own control, and no one else can interfere with her. Sister, can you sell me the jade bracelet in your hand? I really like it. As long as you sell it to me, I'll give you 100 lower-grade spirit stones. How about that? Su Yanran saw Feng Qing dyeing oil and salt and refused to buy the jade bracelet directly. Anyway, Feng Qingran looks poor and definitely needs spirit stones. If she gives so many spirit stones, Feng Qingran will definitely sell them to her. And she must get the things before the elders come, otherwise Feng Qingran will leave with the bracelet, and it will be difficult for her to have a chance to get the jade bracelet again. Get lost. An inexplicable anger surged into Feng Qingran's heart. This person is really disgusting. She really can't figure out how someone like this deserves to be the female lead. What makes a woman of luck? In the book, it was written that the bracelet on Feng Qingran's hand was the only thing left for her by her mother. Feng Qingran was never willing to take it off, let alone know that the jade bracelet was a void with countless heavenly and earthly treasures inside. But Su Yanran saw at first glance that the jade bracelet was extraordinary, and deliberately brought Feng Qingran into the Heavenly Sword sect. Later, she took advantage of her kindness and demanded that Feng Qingran give her the jade bracelet. After Feng Qingran refused, Su Yanran drugged her and, while Feng Qingran was unconscious, switched to a jade bracelet to complete the contract. And Feng Qingran never knew the secret about the jade bracelet until her death. Thinking of this, Feng Qingran's breath was cold all over her body, staring at Su Yanran and coldly saying, "Your previous question, I haven't answered yet, I'll tell you the answer now. I really hate you, even hate you. When I see you pretending to be pure, I feel nauseous. Su Yanran, stay away from me, otherwise I'm afraid I'll lose control and kill you." End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Excellent cultivation talent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Excellent cultivation talent. Su Yanran, who was in her teens, stepped back a few steps when she heard Feng Qingran say this. Feng Qingran tightly clenched her small hands together, trying to suppress the surging emotions. She was shocked by the overwhelming hatred in her heart. She is just a person who wears books. Even though there is a great grudge between the female supporting character in the book and Su Yanran, none of this has happened to her. She shouldn't react so fiercely, right? Is it because she substituted the characters in the book? Feng Qingran decided to stay away from Su Yanran. After all, since both the supporting and leading women have been natural enemies since ancient times, it's definitely not a good thing for them to meet. She turned around and walked outside the square. She was an eliminated disciple and didn't have to stay here and talk nonsense to Su Yanran. Who knew she had just taken a few steps when Su Yenran's timid and cowardly voice echoed from behind, "Sister, is there any misunderstanding between us?" Feng Qingran ignored and continued to walk outside. Upon seeing this, Su Yenran felt a panic in her heart. Her intuition told her not to let Feng Qingran leave. However, just as she was about to pursue Feng Qingran, she heard a majestic voice ringing on the square. "All eliminated disciples, please leave the square immediately. Disciples who have passed the assessment, please be calm and don't be impatient. Sect leaders are already on their way." After the mentor finished speaking, he waved at Su Yenran and gestured for her to stand beside him. Su Yenran is the top scorer in this assessment, and also a mutated ice spirit root. He is a disciple that all sects want to compete for, so he naturally wants to take the initiative first. Su Yenran hesitated for a moment and walked towards her mentor, but the feeling of disappointment couldn't be suppressed. Feng Qingran walked out of the square, feeling refreshed. Sure enough, cherishing life and staying away from the female lead is right. Feng Qingran looked at the road in front of her, feeling a bit conflicted. She was the malicious female supporting character in the book. Even if she took the initiative to stay away from the female protagonist, as long as something was in her hand, the female protagonist would definitely come to find her. To confront the female protagonist, one must embark on the path of cultivating immortality. There is only one path in front of her, becoming a casual cultivator. Although she doesn't lack resources, becoming a casual cultivator means she could die at any time. Damn it. Refuse for a moment of pleasure, and afterwards at the crematorium. While Feng Qingran was lost in thought, a face approached her and said, "Little girl, I see that you have a strong foundation and are very suitable to be my personal disciple. Come back to Lingyun Sect with me, right?" The newcomer is about 30 years old, with a handsome face and a wine jug hanging from his waist. His hair is a bit messy, and he looks like he has just woken up from sleep. Feng Qingran carefully recalled the sects mentioned in the book, but did not recall a Lingyun sect. "Uncle, I am the spiritual root of the 5 elements and cannot bring qi into my body. The 5 elements generate and counteract each other. Regardless of which spiritual root she majors in, the counteracting spiritual root will dissipate the spiritual energy. The single spiritual root is the most qualified, known as the heavenly spiritual root, followed by the double spiritual root, known as the earth spiritual root. The 3 spiritual roots are mysterious, the 4 spiritual roots are yellow, and the 5-element spiritual roots do not enter the path of cultivation. Fortunately, there is a cultivation method about the 5-element spirit root in her jade bracelet. She needs to quickly find a hidden place to contract the jade bracelet." When Yi Wendian heard the 5-element spirit root, he opened his heavenly eyes and looked at Feng Qingran. But the more he looked at it, the more he was shocked that there was such a demon in the lower world. "Stop. I'll apprentice now." Yi Wendian eagerly asked Feng Qingran to apprentice, afraid that she might run away. Feng Qingran. Why does this person look so like a scammer? There won't be any scammers in the world of cultivating immortals, will there? Feng Qingran took a small step back, she really wanted to escape. Yi Wendian saw Feng Qingran's movements and thought she didn't want to join Lingyun Sect. "Little girl, as long as you come to Lingyun Sect, even if you can't build a foundation in the future, we won't drive you away. You can stay in the sect until you die. Moreover, if Lingyun Sect were to add you, there would only be 10 people, with a simple relationship and no rules. Your other senior brothers and sisters are also kind-hearted and won't compete with you for resources. After the cultivator breaks through the foundation, their lifespan reaches 500, which is considered as their true path to immortality." Feng Qingran felt even more nervous in her heart. There was no such thing as losing a pie in the world. With such good conditions, there were only 9 people in the sect, which was very suspicious. Can't it be a fraud gang? Yi Wendian realized that the more he said, the more obvious Feng Qingran's intention to escape became. Now he became anxious, suspecting that the benefits he had promised were not enough. Little apprentice, if you have any conditions, feel free to mention them. Yi Wentian stared at Feng Qingran with bright eyes. Are you sure you want to recruit a disciple with the 5-element spirit root? Feng Qingran asked tentatively. Yi Wentian thought that Feng Qingran's question was due to her lack of confidence in her abilities. He looked puzzled. How should he explain to the young disciple that she is a top-notch fairy spirit root? The method of testing the level of spiritual roots in the lower realm is incorrect. The correct way is to classify them based on their purity. The higher the purity, the higher the cultivation qualification. The correct spiritual root classification should be lower grade, middle grade, upper grade, top grade, holy grade, and divine grade. And the level of spiritual roots can also be improved in some ways in the later stage. There is also a young disciple who is extremely special, the heavenly moon holy body. This physique, coupled with the top-notch fairy spirit root, can be said to travel thousands of miles a day for cultivation. But the more spiritual roots there are, the more painful and lengthy the process of introducing qi into the body will be. However, as long as one can enter the qi refining period, the subsequent path of cultivation will be incredibly smooth. Junior apprentice, cultivating immortals is all about going against the sky. Poor qualifications are not your fault. As long as you are willing to work hard, the future is promising. Back then, the Danqing scholar was able to complete the journey of crossing tribulations and soaring through mysterious talismans. He still doesn't have a spiritual root. Feng Qingran looked at Yi Wentian with a smile and said, Uncle, who is the Danqing scholar? Yi Wentian's expression was momentarily awkward. That's it, I've memorized it. The Danqing scholar is not from this continent. The Danqing scholar had already ascended hundreds of years ago, and it's normal for you not to know. However, there are talismans he drew on the realm orders of our sect. If you don't believe them, you can take a look. Yi Wentian continued to deceive, holding an additional golden token in his hand. Feng Qingran saw the token in Yi Wentian's hand and his expression paused slightly. The token looked familiar to him. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Injecting Air into the Body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Injecting air into the body. Feng Qingran reached out and took the token, with a swastika engraved on the front and a complex circle of symbols around it. She looked at the other side of the token and found that there was indeed a flower carved on it. The flowers on the other side are enchanting and captivating, making her involuntarily feel a sense of familiarity. Feng Qingran did not delve into the origin of that familiarity, but was curious whether this token was the one that Su Yanran later received. As described in the book, Su Yanran had a golden token in her hand, engraved with a flower from the other side of the river, containing a mysterious power. With this force, Su Yanran successfully subdued the divine beast Ting Snake. Later, with the help of Tingsha, Su Yanran refined the mysterious power inside the token and advanced to Yuanying at the age of 25. You should know that the most powerful Wuji immortal lord in the cultivation world only broke through Yuanying at the age of 200. And the power inside the token was so terrifying that Su Yanran could easily advance to Yuanying. The origin of the token is not explained in the book, but if it is truly the boundary order of Lingyun Sect, with Su Yanran's character of eradicating the root, after receiving the order of a sect, this sect will definitely cease to exist. Feng Qing's eyes were darkened, and the characters in the entire book seemed to be stepping stones for Su Yanran's ascent. Is this the power of the chosen son? Young disciple, our sect is very good. Would you like to? Master is here, I will be worshipped by my disciple. Feng Qingran performed a standard apprenticeship ceremony. The enemy of the enemy is a friend, and Lingyun Sect can enter. Stop what Yi Wentian said below. Is a token more attractive than him? Little apprentice, get up quickly. You will become the disciple of Lingyun Sect from now on. You can drop a drop of blood on the token and freely enter and exit Lingyun Sect in the future. Yi Wentian's mouth couldn't close, completely different from his previous immortal demeanor. Feng Qingran bit her finger, dripped blood into the token, and returned it to Yi Wentian. However, neither of them noticed, and a force flew out of the token and silently entered her body. After that force entered Feng Qingran's body, it ran wildly through her veins like a mischievous child. At that moment, Feng Qingran's small face turned white, and her muscles and veins became swollen and painful. As soon as Yi Wentian received the token, he noticed that the spiritual energy around him was rushing wildly towards the little disciple's body, which startled him. He didn't pay attention to the changes on the token. On the contrary, he was wondering why Feng Qingran wanted to introduce qi into her body here. Feng Qingran didn't have time to explain to Yi Wentian. She felt a force forcefully expanding her muscles, which didn't feel good at all. She sat cross-legged, trying to bring the spiritual energy from her body into the spiritual root for refinement, but it disappeared instantly after being introduced into the spiritual root. Feng Qingran was unable to store spiritual energy with her spiritual roots, causing the spiritual energy in her body to flow wildly and causing even more pain. Her face turned pale as she gritted her teeth to suit the spiritual energy inside her body. The 5-element spirit root is different from the single spirit root. If a single spirit root wants to enter the qi refining phase, it only needs to refine the spirit qi and activate the spirit platform to enter the qi refining phase. If the 5-element spirit root wants to enter the qi refining period, the conditions are extremely strict. It is necessary to extract the spiritual energy of 5 attributes at the same time, refine them, and then introduce them into the 5-element spirit root separately to activate the spirit platform, in order to complete the process of introducing qi into the body. Feng Qingran has concentrated and refined spiritual energy, but no matter how focused she is, her spiritual power is almost the same, and she cannot simultaneously inject the 5 spiritual energies into her spiritual roots. The pain at the spiritual roots and tendons made her suffer unbearably, but she didn't want to give up. This road was something she had to walk. At the same time, above the square, while the various lords were arguing about Su Yanran's whereabouts, they noticed that the spiritual energy around them was rushing out crazily. They suddenly stopped and looked in the direction of Feng Qingran, who is practicing there. In this battle, no one wants to break through the golden elixir. Who is so narrow-minded that breaking through the golden elixir outside the square is not afraid of being interrupted? The leader of Lingyun Sect touched his beard and shook his head. The sky is clear, definitely not breaking through the golden elixir. Everyone just remembered that there will be thunder calamity when breaking through the golden elixir, only when breaking through qi refining and building foundations, there will be no thunder calamity. But refining qi and building foundations are crucial for every practitioner, shouldn't anyone choose to break through here. The speed at which spiritual energy is absorbed is not like refining qi or building foundations. Some people expressed confusion. Everyone is aware that cultivation can be divided into the qi refining period, the foundation building period, the golden elixir period, the primordial infant period, the spiritual transformation period, the void spirit period, the unity period, the Mahayana period, and the crossing of calamity period. The spiritual energy required for each level is different, but it is impossible to create such a big battle before the void god. However, after the void god period, the strong choose to cultivate in a certain secret realm or spiritual gathering array, and will never choose to cultivate here so casually. Old Shao, something's wrong. This posture seems to drain the spiritual energy. There shouldn't really be that strong person practicing outside, right? The head of the Imperial Beast Sect looked at the head of the Heavenly Sword Sect, Xiao Hongyu. Xiao Hongyu looked solemnly in the direction of Feng Qingran, as if the spiritual energy of the entire Qingyun prefecture was surging towards it. If this continues, it may affect the entire Qingyun prefecture and we must stop people outside. Follow me out to take a look, all the other elders, said Xiao Hongyu as he walked out. Several sect leaders stood up and followed. Xiao Hongyu took a few steps and turned to look at Su Yanran, gesturing for her to follow. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. 5 Elements Spirit Root. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 5 Elements Spirit Root. When they walked out of the square, they saw a person standing there. That person's face was flushed, calm and contented, and he didn't look like he was practicing at all. Royal Beast Patriarch Rongzhuofan was the first to recognize Yi Wentian. He looked surprised. Why did this guy come out now? The 100-year period has not yet arrived, has it? Stop. With a loud shout, Yi Wentian lifted his sword. In an instant, a majestic sword aura flew out, and a boundary appeared on the floor in front of everyone's toes. The unprepared crowd was startled and took a step back at the same time. Rongzhuofan angrily shouted, Yi Wentian, are you crazy? Everyone stand there and don't move. If anyone affects my disciple's ability to breathe qi into his body, he will bear the consequences. Yi Wentian exuded a strong pressure all over his body. A few people finally noticed that behind Yi Wentian, a teenage girl was sitting cross-legged. Yi Wentian, who are you fooling? You don't need so much spiritual energy to activate the body. Did you set up a spirit gathering array here? Obviously, none of the sect leaders present believed Yi Wentian's words. Only the Xianling sect leader thought of another possibility, and his gaze towards Feng Qinran was somewhat exploratory. Yi Wentian remained silent and didn't bother to explain to them. The young disciple is an excellent fairy spirit root, and these spiritual energies are relatively rare. At this point, Su Yanran tugged at Xiao Hongyu's sleeve and said softly, Master, I know the sister behind me. She is the spiritual root of the 5 elements. Upon hearing this, everyone looked at Su Yanran one after another. There was a proud expression on Su Yanran's eyebrows, as she was a rare and unparalleled ice-type spiritual root in 1,000 years. How could waste like Feng Qinran be able to breathe air into her body before her? Feng Qinran can only serve as her companion. Are you sure? Xiao Hongyu asked seriously. How could Yi Wentian's 8 disciples, each with exceptional aptitude, choose a disciple with the 5 elements spirit root? The 5 spirit roots and the 5 elements spirit roots are not the same thing. There is still a chance for cultivation in the 5 spirit roots. But the 5 elements spirit root is definitely a waste spirit root that deserves it, and it is almost impossible to bring qi into the body. If you forcefully bring qi into the body, you will still explode and die. Most children with the spiritual roots of the 5 elements are prone to premature death. Over time, a tacit understanding emerged in the cultivation world, which did not accept children with the spiritual roots of the 5 elements. There is no cultivation method and no cultivation value. Master, her name is Feng Qinran. She even approached me before and wanted me to take her into the Lingyun Sect. Su Yanran looked up and said firmly. Xiao Hongyu waved his hand and the jade slips floated in the air, displaying the information of Feng Qinran. Ha ha ha. The 5 elements spirit root. Rongzhuofan laughed out loud, Yi Wentian, why don't you take your disciple back to the sect quickly? Don't make a fool of yourself here. Old Yi, you also know what the 5 elements spirit root is, don't be stubborn about it, reminded the Xianling sect leader. Yi Wentian's eyes showed a disdainful expression. A group of short-sighted individuals only thought that the more spiritual roots there were, the longer and more painful the path of cultivation would be, and the more likely they would be to die during the tribulation. However, they did not know that the more spiritual roots there were, the stronger their ability to ascend to enlightenment in the future. The 5 elements spirit root, like the little apprentice, has even more incredible aptitude. Not only does it have the opportunity to spawn rare spiritual roots, but it is also invincible in battles of the same level. As for the difficulties and obstacles on the path of cultivation, the cultivator will experience them all. If they hesitate due to the difficulties in front of them, why bother cultivating immortals and go home to farm? Xiao Hongyu's eyes were slightly cold as he spoke out, Master Yi, hurry up and make her stop. If this continues, something will happen. If you have this time, why don't you go and choose your disciples? Yi Wentian glanced at Xiao Hongyu, unmoved. Master Yi, let a person with the 5-element spirit root forcefully introduce qi into your body. You are risking human life. Xiao Hongyu said with a serious expression. Old Yi, killing an innocent person can be tainted with causality. Several sect leaders advised Yi Wentian to interrupt Feng Qingran's cultivation. Feng Qingran would suffer some injuries at most, but if she was allowed to continue, she would definitely explode and die. A disciple who participated in the assessment but was later eliminated will die here, which will bring unnecessary trouble to the sect. Feng Qingran can die anywhere, but she cannot die outside the Qingyun State Zongmen election. Su Yanran's eyes flashed with pride as she looked at Feng Qingran, who was in unbearable pain. With the interference of these people, Feng Qingran could not have taken the chance to bring qi into her body. When Feng Qingran failed to induce qi and was on the brink of death, she stepped forward to care about Feng Qingran and took the opportunity to take the bracelet. However, Su Yanran was unaware that Feng Qingran could not hear any external voices. Yi Wentian had already set up a formation around her to isolate herself from external interference. At this moment, Feng Qingran's skin under her clothes appeared with subtle cracks, exuding traces of blood. Feng Qingran felt excruciating pain all over her body. She gritted her teeth and tried repeatedly to lure the spirit into her body, but the spiritual energy disappeared instantly after entering the spiritual root, like a stone sinking into the sea. On the contrary, with each attempt, the pain at the spiritual root will increase by 1 point. Her consciousness was already blurred with pain, and she knew that if she continued, she would really explode and die. But she is not willing to give up like this, she doesn't want to be an ant all the time. She must cultivate immortality, even if she really explodes and dies, she must try again. Suddenly, an invisible hand appeared inside her body, actively helping her capture the spiritual energy cluster. Before she could react, she discovered that it had actively divided the 5 spiritual energy clusters and sent them to her spiritual root. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. The little girl is good at being rude. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. The little girl is good at being rude in an instant. The originally dark 5-element spiritual roots in Feng Qingran's body lit up, and the 5 colors gathered together, forming a spiritual platform like a vast ocean. The spiritual energy trapped in her veins rushed crazily towards the altar, and the swelling and pain at the veins disappeared. Feng Qingran looked inside at the Lingtai and couldn't help but be surprised. She remembers writing in the book that when Su Yanran drew her breath into her body, the Lingtai was like a small pond, already against the sky. Isn't she going to break through the sky like this? Feng Qingran was not in a hurry to be happy. She remained calm and focused, holding on to Yuan Yi, extracting the spiritual energy from the altar and sending it into the spiritual roots. She was pleasantly surprised to find that the restraint relationship of the 5-element spiritual roots had been eliminated and turned into complementary. She couldn't hold back for a moment and surprisingly broke through to the 5th level of qi refining. Feng Qingran quickly stopped practicing. Although she really wanted to continue, she understood the truth that Mu Xiu would destroy Lin Feng. She remembers very clearly that when Su Yanran introduced qi into her body, she directly reached the cultivation level of refining qi in the 3rd layer, and was praised as a genius girl. Afterwards, she was targeted by many evil cultivators who wanted to eliminate her quickly. So she must suppress the spiritual energy inside her body before finding a magic tool that can hide her cultivation. Master, the jade bracelet can help you hide your cultivation. I wonder what cultivation your master wants to show. A voice of milk and milk sounded in her sea of consciousness. Divine consciousness transmission. Perhaps knowing her confusion, the child explained, Master, I am the spirit of the jade bracelet. Your blood just seeped into the jade bracelet, completing the contract. Feng Qingran sensed 3 faint lines emerging from her soul. Is this the contractual line with the jade bracelet? How should she enter the space inside the jade bracelet? Feng Qingran was thinking this way, and a white light flashed before her, placing her in the vast expanse of heaven and earth. Looking around, there is a barren and dry land, with only a thatched cottage not far away. Feng Qingran walked into the thatched cottage and saw 2 bookcases and a medicine cabinet. Surprisingly, one of the bookcases was filled with cultivation techniques related to the 5-element spirit root. Master, the higher your cultivation, the better things will appear in the space. With the sound, a cute little elf appeared, and the blue elf shyly looked at Feng Qingran. Did you help me adjust my inner spiritual power just now? As the little elf shook her head, Feng Qing's eyes flickered slightly, pondering the source of that mysterious power. Crouching trough. Yi Wentian, what kind of demon are you, little disciple? Rong Zhuofan exclaimed in surprise. 11-year-old Qi refining 5 layers, if such people are useless, wouldn't they even be inferior to waste? Other sect leaders were also shocked. Feng Qingran actually succeeded in introducing Qi into her body, and even directly entered the 5th level of Qi refining. How could this be? However, when everyone wanted to investigate Feng Qingran's situation, her figure instantly disappeared into place. My little apprentice. I'm such a big little apprentice. Yi Wentian stared at the place where Feng Qingran disappeared, his divine sense spreading, but he couldn't find her breath. Yi Wentian looked at Xiao Hongyu and said, Xiao Hongyu. Did you hide my little disciple? Hand it over quickly. Why are you crazy? Xiao Hongyu looked inexplicable. Who else can there be if it's not you? Only you and I have a cave where we can hide living people. Yi Wentian had thought about space hiding people, but there can be no void space in the lower realm, so he first ruled out space hiding people. Xiao Hongyu's face turned black. He felt that Yi Wentian was reporting to the wicked first, and the 5-element spirit root forcibly introduced Qi into his body, even reaching the 5th level of Qi refining, which went against common sense. He originally wanted to check if there was a problem with Feng Qingran's cultivation technique, but as a result, the person disappeared. He suspected that Yi Wentian had sensed their intention and took the initiative to hide Feng Qingran in advance. Master Yi, do we hide people or not? You know best in your heart. Xiao Hongyu's eyes lit up as he explored. In the middle stage of his void god and the later stage of Yi Wentian's void god, he was unable to search Yi Wentian's cave and could only ask him to hand over the people himself. Old Yi, what kind of cultivation is Feng Qingran practicing? How could she suddenly reach the 5th level of Qi refining? Bai Li Xianqing asked several sect leaders about their thoughts. Yi Wentian scanned a few people and instantly understood that the little apprentice's cultivation had grown too fast. They were suspecting that the little apprentice was going through a different path. Yi Wentian calmed down, and the urgent thing was to have Xiao Hongyu hand over his junior apprentice first. And just as he was pondering, Feng Qingran suddenly appeared in his previous position and respectfully said to him, Master. Okay. Yi Wentian's face showed a happy expression, without asking why she disappeared. He raised his sword and prepared to take Feng Qingran back to Lingyun Sect. Master Yi, wait a moment. Xiao Hongyu raised his hand to set up the barrier. We need to ask Feng Qingran a few questions. Get lost. I'm not available, get out of the way. Yi Wentian's eyes condensed. In an instant, the two were at odds with each other. Bai Li Xianqing stood up and said to Feng Qingran, don't make your master difficult. We just don't want to see how you bring Qi into your body. After all, there has never been an example of the 5-element spirit root bringing Qi into your body since ancient times, and we have no malicious intent. I refuse. Feng Qingran didn't hesitate. Bai Li Xianqing looked depressed. Why didn't this little girl play the card according to the routine? I'm really a master and apprentice. My personality is exactly the same. Little girl, you are so rude. The Fire Cloud sect leader, who had been watching, stood up and waved his divine sense towards Feng Qingran. He dared to conclude that this master and disciple must have some tricks. As the divine sense approached, a feeling of being peeked at struck, causing Feng Qingran to feel extremely uncomfortable. She wanted to avoid it, but found that the divine sense had directly penetrated her body. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. One sword shatters the mountain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. One sword shatters the mountain, and as soon as the divine consciousness entered Feng Qingran's body, it was erased by a force. Immediately after, there was a pop sound. The leader of Lingyun Sect spat out a mouthful of blood and looked at Feng Qingran in surprise. His divine consciousness, which was at the peak of his transformation period, was actually erased by a person who refined the 5th layer of qi. Feng Qingran definitely has a problem. Yi Wentian stopped his confrontation with Xiao Hongyu, feeling anxious in his heart. Divine perception is extremely harmful to cultivators who have not built a foundation. It can affect their mental state, and in severe cases, it can lead to the formation of mental demons, making it difficult for them to improve their cultivation. Master, I'm fine. I don't know who erased my divine sense, Feng Qingran said with a naive expression. Yi Wentian felt at ease and protected Feng Qingran behind him, sneering, a group of old guys are really shameless in using such methods against a young generation. I, Yi Wen, am towering and upright. I disdain to cultivate those heretical sects, and my disciples don't know how to do so. If you continue to pester me, you won't be polite. Master Yi, Master Xiao didn't mean to do this either. Xiao Hongyu, knowing that they were at fault, softened his attitude a bit and thought of the centenary agreement. Master Yi, do you remember that you promised not to compete with us for disciples for 100 years? Yi Wentian's face stiffened. He had indeed promised not to accept disciples at the sect assembly for 100 years. Yes, Yi Wentian, you have made an oath before and cannot retract it. It seems that you and Feng Qingran are destined to have no master-disciple relationship. Don't worry, my beast sect will take care of her for you. Rong Zhuofan smiled happily and did not take Su Yanran as his disciple. He must have taken Feng Qingran. The several sect leaders looked at each other. Did the Imperial Beast sect get the key point wrong? At this point, Feng Qingran whispered, Master, I was eliminated. They don't want it. You didn't compete with them. Yes, little apprentice, don't be sad. They eliminated you because they had no eyes. Yi Wentian rubbed Feng Qingran's head and continued, I have known them for hundreds of years, and I have long discovered that they like to take in some crooked melons and split dates as apprentices to showcase their strength. Yi Wentian turned his head to look at Xiao Hongyu again and said, the disciple you are looking for is inside. Don't waste my time here, otherwise it will be like this mountain. Boom, in the moment when Yi Wentian raised his hand and waved a sword energy, the distant giant mountain instantly shattered into powder. Xiao Hongyu's pupils trembled slightly, and Yi Wentian's sword intent had actually reached the level of a sage. He thought that a few people could fight against Yi Wentian together, but it seemed that he had overthought it. Now is not the time to harden with Yi Wentian. After all, it will take a long time for Feng Qingran to grow up, and it is not too late to investigate again in the future. Thinking of this, Xiao Hongyu no longer stopped Yi Wentian. Red sky, rise up. Yi Wentian pinched a magic spell, and the sword grew several times larger. He let Feng Qingran walk up first, and then he went up. Feng Qingran walked up to the red sky, but her mind was somewhat absent-minded, as if she had heard the name of the red sky there. Su Yanran watched with reluctance as Feng Qingran left. She didn't say she hadn't received the jade bracelet, and Feng Qingran stole the limelight. 3 years later, in the sect competition, she must make Feng Qingran obediently hand over the jade bracelet. Even if the jade bracelet is stained by Feng Qing's contract, she will erase the mark on it and get the jade bracelet. Lingyun Sect, Maju Peak. The fairy mist shrouds, and the scenery is pleasant. A man raised his eyebrows and looked at the other two men next to him with peach blossom eyes. He spoke up and said, "Senior brother, I heard we're going to have a junior sister." Upon hearing this, Lu Kanglan nodded slightly, her lips as warm as jade, and a smile flashed in her eyes. This old man promised not to accept disciples at the sect assembly for 100 years. It's only been 70 years and he can't help but wonder how those sect leaders look. Mu Qianjue waved his folding fan lightly, looking gloating. "Qianjue, when junior sister comes later, you should be more serious," Lu Kanglan warned in a warm voice. However, Master suddenly accepted his apprenticeship, and I didn't even have time to prepare this meeting ceremony. Mu Qianjue said nonchalantly, "Senior brother has a rich family background. Just pick up any magical tool, but I'm curious about what junior brother 7 will prepare." Their gaze fell on the young man beside them at the same time. The young man casually put down his teacup, and his every move exuded an innate sense of luxury. At the same time, at the entrance of Lingyun Sect. "Junior disciple, this is the gate of our Lingyun Sect. Remember it clearly." Feng Qingran lowered her head and saw the barrier formed by the wooden fence, as well as the wooden door that creaked when the wind blew. Her mouth couldn't help but twitch. Is the sect so poor? Before she could ask more questions, Yi Wentian's sword pierced through a thin mist and entered the Lingyun Sect realm. At the moment of entering the realm, Feng Qingran felt as if her body was immersed in a spiritual bath. The spiritual energy was at least dozens of times stronger than outside, and practicing here was simply twice the result with half the effort. It seems that the sect is not poor, but rather spends all the spiritual stones in key areas. "I'll take you to meet a few senior brothers and sisters first, and then I'll take you to the 10th peak later," Yi Wentian said. He stopped on a mountain peak, scanned his divine sense, and found that there was no one in the mountain. He took Feng Qingran to the next mountain peak. Feng Qingran glanced at the mountain peak behind her and asked with some uncertainty, "Master, why is there no courtyard on the mountain? Everyone lives in the cave." Immediately, Yi Wentian changed his tone and said with a serious expression, "Our Lingyun Sect doesn't have any courtyard. If you see any courtyard within the boundary in the future, you can't go in. And immediately go find your 7th senior brother Mo Jinghong." Feng Qingran's face was full of question marks. Is it reasonable to say that a legitimate sect does not have a single building? However, Yi Wentian did not explain much about this and directly brought Feng Qingran to Maju Peak. As soon as she landed, Feng Qingran saw 3 extraordinary and handsome faces. One of them, a young man dressed in a black cloud-patterned brocade robe, was exceptionally handsome, with a picturesque appearance, like a banished immortal. A sentence flashed through Feng Qingran's mind. "Go to the feast of the magnificent world and witness the beauty of the prosperous era." The 3 of them stood up and walked over when they saw Yi Wentian and Feng Qingran. Yi Wentian raised his hand and patted the young man's shoulder. "Young disciple, this is your 7th senior brother Mo Jinghong. You can come to him for anything in the sect in the future, and if you have any questions about cultivation, you can also ask him." Feng Qingran regained consciousness and saluted, saying, "Feng Qingran, I have met senior brother 7. Mo Jinghong raised his wrist lightly, his lips slightly curved, and his starry eyes sparkled deeply. "Mo Jinghong, we are delighted to meet." Upon hearing this, Feng Qingran's expression froze for a moment. How strange was the way Senior 7 greeted him. Not only Feng Qingran, but also Yi Wentian and the other 3 showed surprised expressions. Today, Mo Jinghong, who cannot be described as approachable, has lost his previous nobility and coldness. Junior sister is growing her body, and this colorful Xuani is for you as a gift. It can automatically adjust the color and size, said Mo Jinghong, handing it to Feng Qingran. "Thank you, senior brother 7. Feng Qingran took the colorful Xuani and her drooping eyes flashed with a faint light. She took out a box from her sleeve and said, "This is a return gift." Mo Jinghong did not refuse and accepted the return gift. Yi Wentian touched his chin and realized that he needed to prepare a meeting gift for the first time. He used to throw his apprentices to Lu Kanglan and Mo Jinghong, so he owed a lot of meeting gifts. If all of this is added, won't he have no spirit stones to buy wine from now on? Junior apprentice, this is your senior brother Lu Kanglan, and this is your fourth senior brother Mu Qianjue. Let's talk about it first. I have other matters to attend to as a teacher. Yi Wentian quickly finished his introduction, and the figure disappeared from Huazhu Peak. Feng Qingran. Is there a master who is even more unreliable than this? The old man ran so fast, saving another penny. Mu Qianjue's folding fan swayed, unable to conceal his noble demeanor. Although Feng Qingran was a bit nervous, she still greeted Lu Kanglan and Mu Qianjue without any hesitation. Lu Kanglan was dressed in plain brocade, with a slender and straight figure, like a magnolia tree. Her eyebrows and eyes were warm, and she said, "Hello, junior sister. This is a gift for your meeting. There is an infinite space ring with 500 spiritual fruits inside." Feng Qingran arched her hand to express her gratitude, took the ring, and felt a little surprised. Senior brother has such a big hand. Space rings belong to advanced storage devices. In the realm of cultivation, only the elders and leaders of the main sect can have space rings, and they are still limited in space. And even more so, the infinite space ring is only possessed by the ancestors of very few sections. Not to mention there are 500 spiritual fruits in this space. Unlike elixirs, spiritual fruits have pure spiritual power that nourishes the spiritual meridians without leaving behind any poison. You two guys are forcing me to come up with a unique move. Mu Qianjue held the white jade bone fan in her hand, with a smile on her lips and a pair of peach blossom eyes that seemed to smile rather than smile. Mu Qianjue took out an umbrella-shaped object, about 5 inches long, and presented it to Feng Qingran. Feng Qingran recognized it as a hidden weapon at a glance, and even felt a bit familiar. This is the Thousand-Seeker Needle. After the junior sister's contract, she will know its wonderful use. Mu Qianjue's folding fan swayed, unable to conceal her noble aura. Feng Qingran put away the space ring and hidden weapon, took out 2 boxes, and handed them to the 2 people respectively. Lu Kanglan opened the box and saw a purple ginseng lying inside, with obsidian-like eyes shining with a warm luster. The scent on this ginseng was so strange. Seems to have the power of the heavenly way. Mu Qianjue saw the expression on Lu Kanglan's face and opened the box in her hand, showing a look of shock. She then carefully closed the box and said, "Little junior sister, do you know its value?" Feng Qingran nodded. Huangyan Blood Heart Ji was very suitable for Mu Qianjue, but she didn't know that because of this Lingji, 3 months later, Qianjue Peak was burned bare. "Thank you, junior sister. I'll say goodbye first," Mu Qianjue and Sanren said as they parted ways and left in a hurry. Lu Kanglan was slightly surprised. Mu Qianjue rarely acted so impatiently. It seemed that the gift given to him by the junior sister was not simple. "Junior sister, I have accepted the gift, but except for the people in the sect, we must not let outsiders know about it." Lu Kanglan bowed and said goodbye, no longer staying. Feng Qing's eyebrows were tingling and her heart was beating. She was in such a hurry to cultivate, wasn't she a bit convoluted? Senior Brother 7, where is our library? The original work was very vague about many things, and she wanted to flip through the books here to understand the specific situation. "Junior sister, come with me." The 10th Peak. After Feng Qingran walked into the cave, her expression was shocked. This cave was completely different from what she thought. The space inside the cave is spacious, decorated in a magnificent and luxurious manner, with everything available. Mo Jinghong pressed his hand on a stone at the entrance and said, "This is the formation stone. After the blood drops activate, only the young junior sister can enter the cave." Mo Jinghong introduced everything inside the cave one by one, while Feng Qingran stood aside, only focusing on surprise and nodding. She understood everything Mo Jinghong said, but the more she listened, the more complicated Feng Qingran's heart became. Lingyun Sect has a complete policy of free range, and no one cares about whether you cultivate or not. Mo Jinghong even casually threw her a pile of Pigu Dan and said that before the Golden Dan, she only had this to eat. "Senior brother Qi, if possible, I still want to eat secular food." Feng Qingran tried to make a request. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. A Troupe of Villains. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. A Troupe of Villains. Mo Jinghong took out a flute and played a few times. Continuing, "Junior sister, this 10th peak belongs to you and you can walk around freely. But if you want to go outside the 10th peak, you must let Wan Jin bring you to find me, and I will take you there. There are many formations and mechanisms within the sect, and even a slight mistake may lead to being trapped in them, posing a life-threatening danger. Senior brother Qi, who is Wan Jin?" Feng Qin was filled with doubts. "Master said that if you see the courtyard in the sect, you should look for Senior Brother 7. Senior Brother 7 also said that you cannot leave your own mountain peak at will. Lingyun Sect doesn't hide any hidden secrets, does it? Why is it not Senior Brother who is in charge, but Senior Brother 7? Mo Jinghong chuckled and said, "It's here." Feng Qingran turned her head and found a spirit crane flying into the cave, and the spirit crane stopped. Ling He sked at Feng Qingran and said, "You little doll wants to eat. What do you like to eat? Tell me everything, and I'll make it for you in the future." Feng Qingran twitched at the corner of her mouth. She had already developed a slight nervous breakdown. She remembers that the level of spiritual beasts is divided into 1 to 12 levels, followed by heavenly beasts, immortal beasts, sacred beasts, imperial beasts, divine beasts, and super-divine beasts. Among them, beneath the sacred beasts, there are all newly enlightened spiritual beings who cannot speak human language. Only the spiritual beasts above the sacred beasts can enjoy speaking human language. If a typical family or sect can obtain a sacred beast, they will definitely offer it, while the sacred beast of Lingyun Sect is actually used for cooking. Does she dare to eat this? Jinghong, can't this little doll be mute? Wan Jin saw Feng Qingran looking stunned, with a tone full of disgust. Little junior sister, when she first arrived at Lingyun Sect, she was a bit uncomfortable. Wan brocade is not strange. Mo Jinghong's lips curved slightly, and her eyebrows and eyes were as beautiful and stunning as poetry. "Okay, I'll leave first. When you think it over, write it down and put it outside the cave." Wan Jin proudly flapped her wings and flew out. Feng Qingran restrained her mind and exhaled a breath, wanting to be a calm little woman in handling things. But, when Mo Jinghong held an inch-thick book and told her that it was a library, her expression didn't tense up. "One book, one world. Master will input all the books into this book. Little junior sister, you only need to inject a hint of divine energy into what you want to read, and it will come out what you want." Mo Jinghong put the book in Feng Qingran's hand. Feng Qingran opened the first page, and as she saw the 9 names clearly on it, her hands gradually began to tremble. There are a total of 9 names, 7 of which are malicious villains mentioned in the original work. No wonder she always feels very familiar when she hears the names of Senior Brother and 4th Senior Brother. Senior Brother was killed by the Demon Lord, an admirer of Su Yanran. After the death of Senior Brother, Su Yanran gained a lot of good things from him. 4th Senior Brother was also killed by Su Yanran's pursuers. After 4th Senior Brother's death, all his hidden weapons were taken by Su Yanran. Afterwards, Su Yanran relied on these hidden weapons to repeatedly complete more advanced counterattacks. There were also second senior brother Dugu's sword, third senior sister Qin Han Yan, fifth senior sister Ning Shiyue, sixth senior brother Bai Li Wenyu, and eighth senior brother Yan Moyu, all of whom had a very tragic ending. Although she had never seen the remaining 5 people, Lingyun Sect had a leader like Yi Wentian, who would never teach great villains and great evils. Also, senior brother has a gentle temperament. Why did he slaughter the city in the later stage for personal gain? There must be some hidden truth behind this. No way. We must never let any tragedy happen in the future. The sect must become stronger so that someone can protect her in the future. However, Lingyun Sect suddenly had 7 villains, and there must be a problem that the name of Lingyun Sect was not mentioned in the original work. Or perhaps it was written in the book that she forgot. Feng Qingran closed the book and a dark light flashed in her eyes. She needed to meet the remaining senior brothers and sisters before making a decision. If junior sister has some precious books, you can also enter them, so that the title page will have the name of junior sister. Mo Jinghong whispered, as if he had not noticed any abnormality in Feng Qingran. Thank you for the reminder from senior brother 7. Could you please tell me about everyone's cultivation? Feng Qingran had a plan in her heart, and she wanted to lead everyone in the sect to become top-level experts. In the original work, Su Yanran relied on the resources of these villains to have a smooth path of cultivation. With her in this life, she will never let Su Yanran take anything from everyone again. And what Su Yanran owes everyone, she will definitely repay her 100 times. Mo Jinghong nodded and the two of them walked to the stone table and sat down. Master has been stuck at the peak of the Void God for 60 years, and there is only one chance to break through. Senior brother Yuan Ying is in the later stage of his life, majoring in formations. Your second senior brother, Dugu's sword, is in the middle stage of the golden elixir and is a sword cultivator. Feng Qingran widened her eyes and exclaimed, good guy. This Lingyun Sect is simply full of demons, if she remembers correctly. In the later stage, Su Yanran will have a master who is known as the first person in the cultivation world, also known as the late stage of the Void God. There are also some elders in the major sects who are only young and talented, and even some elders have attained the cultivation of the golden elixir. The result is that Lingyun Sect has a golden pill per capita. Feng Qingran became more and more curious as she thought about it. What kind of power was it? Can you silently destroy the Lingyun Sect with a peak of the Void God sitting in it? There must be some tricks involved. Junior sister, is there anything else you want to ask? Senior brother, I remember there will be a sect competition 3 years later. Who will our sect send to participate? End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Not participating in this competition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Not participating in this competition. Feng Qingran mentioned the sect competition because the top 20 contestants had the opportunity to enter the 9 Abyss secret realm. She remembered that there was a Mahayana period power inheritance hidden in the secret realm. If she could help her master obtain that inheritance, he would definitely be able to advance. We never participate in these competitions, Mo Jinghong said, which made Feng Qingran vent her anger. She choked on all the words she had thought up and said, why don't you participate? Mo Jinghong smiled lightly and said, it's too boring. There are no opponents in the same level. If these words were spoken from others, Feng Qingran would definitely feel that this person is arrogant. But when Mo Jinghong spoke it out, she felt incredibly real. In the realm of cultivation, being able to break through the golden elixir before the age of 100 is already a talent of the Heavenly Emperor. And the disciples of Lingyun Sect, who are no more than 100 years old, have all reached the middle stage of the golden elixir or above in cultivation. Among them, Mo Jinghong is the most incredible. He is a beautiful young man with a face no more than 18 years old, and has already reached the level of Yuanying cultivation. This means he broke through Yuanying before the age of 18. Practitioners who break through the Yuanying can live to over 2,000 years old, and their appearance can also be maintained at the time of breakthrough. Senior Brother 7, I want to participate, and I want all senior brothers and sisters to participate. The first step in changing the fate of Lingyun Sect is to establish its reputation. Strong strength is indeed frightening, but combined with prestige, it is even more frightening. Master's cultivation is clearly higher than Xiao Hongyu's, but the attitudes of several sect leaders towards Master and Xiao Hongyu are vastly different, just because Xiao Hongyu is the leader of the first sect. Mo Jinghong casually poured a cup of tea for Feng Qingran, with a pleasing sensation in every gesture and gesture. Since junior sister wants everyone to go, then go. Mo Jinghong's lips showed a spoiled smile, indicating that her life has undergone significant changes. No, it still depends on the wishes of a few senior brothers and sisters, but as long as anyone participates, I will present a top-notch immortal plant. Feng Qingran actually wanted to give it a higher level. However, the top-quality immortal plant is already the top spiritual plant on this continent, extremely rare. Higher-level spiritual plants can cause celestial anomalies and cause unnecessary trouble. Sure. Mo Jinghong's starry eyes flashed with an elusive light. But this top-notch immortal plant needs to come out of the secret realm before giving it. Feng Qingran had already figured out the source of the spiritual plant and said he would get it in the Nine Abyss secret realm. Sure. Feng Qingran listened to Mo Jinghong's agreement and felt a sense of joy in her heart. Since that's the case, the first thing to do is to raise the cultivation level. Feng Qingran began to rush people and said, "Thank you to Senior Brother 7 today. I'm going to start practicing now." Mo Jinghong was slightly surprised. On his first day of cultivation, did he put too much pressure on his junior sister? Mo Jinghong did not expect that the pressure would be on the entire Lingyun Sect in the future. Tianjian Sect. Su Yanran stood in front of a courtyard, her face slightly gloomy. At the sect meeting, Xiao Hongyu intended to take her as his disciple, but after seeing Feng Qingran, he decided not to mention this matter. It seems that everything has been going wrong for Feng Qingran since she met her. Not only did I not receive the bracelet, but I also lost the quota for the head disciple. Fortunately, an elder was willing to accept her as a disciple, otherwise she would only be an inner disciple if she ranked first in the assessment, which is really embarrassing. At this moment, squeak, the courtyard door was opened, and a girl in yellow emerged from inside. The girl embraced her arms with both hands, and a hint of mockery flashed on her pretty face. "Oh, isn't this the new genius junior sister? Why don't you come in?" Su Yanran was surprised. How could Xing Shi, the legitimate daughter of the Xing family, be here? TSK, it seems that senior sister Yanran is very unwilling to live in the same yard as me. The girl's posture was domineering. "No, senior sister, I'll go in right now." Su Yanran's eyes drooped and she clenched the low-level storage bag in her hand, afraid to say anything more. Su Yanran never expected that as an elder disciple, she would have to live in the same courtyard as others. Sheng Shik snorted coldly and pointed to the small room next to him. "Yanran junior sister, the other rooms haven't been vacated yet. Please stay in this room temporarily, don't you feel aggrieved?" "Not aggrieved." Su Yanran clenched her small hand into a fist. Sheng Shi is the daughter of the Peak Master, and she cannot conflict with her yet. Su Yanran took a few steps forward and clearly felt that the concentration of spiritual energy in the air was not as high as in the main hall of the sect. Strange, didn't the sect leader say that every courtyard has a spirit gathering array? By the way, junior sister Yanran, I forgot to tell you that the eye of our gathering spirit formation is broken and may take 1 or 2 months to repair. Sheng Shik continued to stimulate Su Yanran, wanting to see how long she could endure. Su Yanran tried her best to suppress her anger and dared not speak, "I understand." Su Yanran knew that Sheng Shi was intentionally targeting her, but she dared not resist. The power of the Su family is far inferior to that of the Xing family, and she cannot be tough with Xingshi. She can only save up enough contribution points as soon as possible, buy her own yard, and focus on cultivation. After all, she still needs to participate in the sect competition 3 years later to win first place. The prize of the competition, the Ice Soul Sword, is the magic weapon that she admires and must obtain. If Feng Qingran were present to see this scene, she would definitely clap her hands and cheer. Xingshi is also a malicious female supporting character in the book. She was ultimately stabbed to death by Su Yanran with a sword, and her soul was crushed by Su Yanran's admirer, the Underworld Emperor, with no chance of reincarnation. In the original work, Feng Qingran and Su Yanran entered the sect together, and at the age of 15, Xingshi developed hostility towards Feng Qingran. Feng Qingran, who is 11 years old, has a delicate and beautiful appearance, carved in powder and jade. She can already glimpse that she will definitely be a peerless beauty when she grows up. Xingshi is afraid that Feng Qingran will threaten her position as the first beauty. I always wanted to secretly eliminate Feng Qingran, so I naturally ignored Su Yanran. When Xingshi noticed Su Yanran's beauty, she could no longer touch her, so she could only vent her anger on Feng Qingran. In this life, there is no Feng Qingran to attract firepower, so Xingshi naturally targets Su Yanran. She deliberately arranged for Su Yanran to be placed in her own yard, suppressing her aura and dragging down her cultivation progress. 3 months later. Lingyun Sect, Qianjue Peak. Suddenly caught in a big fire, alarmed the people who were currently in seclusion. When they arrived at Qianjue Peak, they only saw a bare mountain in Mu Qianjue, who was smooth and fair all over, with a shiny forehead. Mu Qianjue saw someone approaching and shouted, "Close your eyes." However, except for one woman who turned around, everyone else remained expressionless as they looked at Mu Qianjue. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Gifts from Junior Sister. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Gifts from Junior Sister, ha ha ha. Fourth Senior Brother, how dare you walk the bird in public? The voice echoed from far to near. A man in white stepped on a spirit crane and landed on Qianjue Peak. Upon hearing the man's words, Mu Qianjue didn't care about burning fire all over her body and quickly plunged into the cave. Lu Kanglin's ink-like eyes were tinged with a smile as he looked at the newcomer. His voice was gentle and he said, "Wenyue, have you left the level?" "Yes, Senior Brother, I heard we have 9 junior sisters." "Senior Brother will take me to take a look later." Bai Liwen landed gracefully, his body like a bamboo, with dragon-like and phoenix-like postures, showing pride and elegance in every move and gesture. "No need to bring it, Junior Sister is here." As Lu Kanglin's words fell, a few people followed his direction and saw a young man in Xuani, who was as beautiful as a banished immortal, wielding a sword. Behind him was a little girl riding a spirit crane. The little girl has an astonishing appearance, delicate features, and a skin like jade. At a young age, she is already a stunning beauty. Is that the little junior sister following behind junior brother 7? Ning Shiyue looked at her with beautiful eyes, shining like spring flowers. Lu Kanglin nodded and said, "Xiao Wu is very smart, that's our junior sister Feng Qingran." The more Bai Liwen heard Lu Kanglin say this, the more he began to pick up things. In the blink of an eye, a lot of things were piled up in front of the few people. Bai Liwen clenched his chin and muttered to himself, "I don't know if junior sister would dislike the lack of meeting gifts." Ning Shiyue said, "Is it really good for junior brother Lu to do this? In this comparison, isn't the thing she prepared very shabby?" Ning Shiyue regretted joining the fun. She shouldn't have closed herself up, but should have gone out with third senior sister to experience and prepare more things. Ning Shiyue looked at Dugujiani, who had been silent all along, and said, "Second senior brother, what have you prepared for junior sister?" Dugujian furrowed his eyebrows slightly, and he was unprepared for anything. He didn't even know that he was supposed to give a gift when he first met his junior sister, and he didn't give it either when he first met his third and fifth junior sisters. If he had to make up for it all at once, he glanced at the inside of the Summer ring, only a few inferior spirit stones and a few tattered clothes. Lost in thought, he couldn't afford anything. The only hand he received was a manual of ancient swords. Fifth junior sister, why don't I teach you the sword technique? Dugu Jian looked serious. Ah. Ning Shiyue looked bewildered. Second senior brother probably wanted to find an excuse to hit her, right? When Feng Qingran and Mo Jinghong landed, they saw a pile of top-quality spirit stones, more than 10 high-level magical tools, dozens of bottles of elixirs, and a black egg half a person tall. Bai Liwen squeezed closer and closer between the two, looking at Feng Qingran with a smile on his face. His pair of red phoenix eyes added a touch of charm. Little junior sister, these are all prepared for your meeting gifts. Feel free to say anything else you want. This is your sixth senior brother, Bai Liwen Yu. Mo Jinghong's pleasant voice rang out. I've seen senior brother 6, these things are too valuable. Feng Qingran bowed and thought of the ending about Bai Liwen Yu in her mind. Bai Liwen Yu carries the bloodline power of an ancient nine-tailed fox. He is the future leader of the demon clan and died under Su Yanran's sword. His inner alchemy was dug out, and his soul and soul were erased from his memory and turned into a spirit. As long as junior sister likes it, it's good, Bai Liwen said indifferently. Feng Qingran looked at the pile of gifts like mountains and pondered how to refuse some of them. After all, if she accepts everything, she can't even afford to reciprocate. At least 50,000 pieces of top-quality spirit stones, equivalent to 500 million lower-grade spirit stones, are enough to buy a small sect. And these advanced defense weapons, one piece is priceless, not to mention a dozen or so. Keep it, your sixth senior brother is wealthy and generous. If you refuse, he will definitely have an endless day. Lu Kanglin noticed Feng Qingran's hesitation and reminded him gently. Feng Qingran felt a headache for a while. She flipped her wrist and found an extra qin in her hand. I think Senior 6 is using a jade flute, and I believe he is proficient in music theory. I'll give this qin to senior brother, she said after much thought. She realized that this fushi qin could barely match the value of this pile of things. A few people looked at the qin in Feng Qingran's hand, with silver strings and a jade body emitting a faint white light. Without any unnecessary decorations, it exudes an ancient and elegant atmosphere. Bai Liwen took over the fushi qin, his eyes filled with surprise, and his fingers gently brushed the strings of the qin. Ding! The melodious sound of the piano made the heart feel peaceful, and even the spiritual energy inside the body unconsciously began to circulate. Bai Liwen vaguely felt that this qin contained a mysterious power, but he seemed to have temporarily lost control of this power. This qin is not simple. Senior brother Lu, can I sell this qin to you? Ning Shiyue's clear eyes streamed with hope, as bright as the autumn moon. No way. This is a gift from my junior sister. Bai Liwen immediately put away the qin and took out a storage ring to give to Ning Shiyue. Here are 10,000 top-quality spirit stones for you. Go buy one yourself. Thank you, senior brother 6. Ning Shiyue took the spirit stone with a smile on her face. Sure enough, senior brother 6's spirit stone was the best pit. Feng Qingran saw that Bai Liwen had accepted the fushi qin and felt at ease as he sent the piled-up things on the ground into space. Just that strange egg disappeared as soon as it entered space. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. This master is not reliable. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. This master is not reliable. This is your second senior brother Dugu Jiani and your fifth senior sister Ning Shiyue. Mo Jinghong interrupted her thoughts in a deep voice. Feng Qingran gave up exploring the whereabouts of Black Egg and saluted, saying, I've seen you, second senior brother and fifth senior sister. Hello junior sister, I will supply you with the gift of meeting you next time. Dugu Jian, dressed in black, was plump and upright, with eyebrows and starry eyes, and sharp black eyes, like an eagle in the dark night. Why don't second senior brother agree to my request, even if it's a gift for me to meet? Feng Qingran knew that Dugu Jiani couldn't bring anything. Lonely Sword 1, a fearsome sword demon on the future continent. In the original work, it was written that Dugu Jiani, who does not love money, is a swordsman. Even if they are poor and destitute, they never take money from others. Later, he slaughtered one of the 8 major families, the Qin family, with the power of one person, fell into demonic cultivation, and ultimately died under the sword of Su Yanran. After searching for his storage ring, Su Yanran really despised it. Junior sister, please speak. Can second senior brother accompany me to the sect assembly in 2 years? Feng Qingran pondered over whether it was her initiative to propose the competition to her senior brothers and sisters. After pondering for a moment, Dugu Jian nodded and agreed. Feng Qingran immediately put a box into Dugu Jian's hand and said, "Since second senior brother gave me a meeting gift, then this is second senior brother's meeting gift." This. Dugu Jian was about to refuse, but was pushed aside by Ning Shiyue on the side. Second senior brother is really grinding and chattering. She hasn't had a good chat with little junior sister yet. Ning Shiyue's bright eyes were filled with a smile. Little junior sister, I don't know what you like, but girls always like beautiful clothes. Here are all the jewelry and clothes I have prepared for you. Feng Qingran smiled and took the storage bag, but before she could speak, a crystal clear bead was stuffed into her hand. This is a shark pearl, which can be held in the mouth and breathe freely in the water. It is also given to junior sisters, explained Ning Shiyue. Thank you, senior sister Wu. Feng Qingran was deeply moved in her heart. The feeling of being spoiled was really good. Feng Qingran couldn't help but think of the ending of Ning Shiyue, as it seemed that senior sister Wu only appeared after the book. As the owner of the Qianke Pavilion, Ning Shiyue possesses both talismans and poison, both of which are mysterious and mysterious. She specifically opposed Su Yanran and repeatedly inflicted poison on her, but failed. In the end, she was humiliated and killed by Su Yanran. After her death, Su Yanran took over the Qianke Pavilion and became the new owner, with even stronger influence in her hands. Talismans. If you want to draw talismans, you need good brushstrokes, talismans, paper, and ink. She doesn't have any of these things. What should I give to senior sister Wu? Ning Shiyue couldn't help feeling a little nervous when she saw Feng Qingran not speaking. Could it be that the junior sister was not satisfied with the gift she gave? That's right, she's not even half as good as sixth junior brother. Fifth senior sister, I really like the gift you gave me, and I also gave it to fifth senior sister as a gift. Feng Qingran handed Ning Shiyue a delicate box, but fortunately, Qi Ling reminded her in time that she still had a Xianling fruit. After taking Xianling fruit, it can enhance divine consciousness and is an excellent thing for talismans. Ning Shiyue shook her head and refused. How can we have something from our junior sister? Fifth junior sister, you should open it and see before rejecting, Lu Kanglin's gentle voice sounded. His first reaction when he saw the box was to refuse. After opening it, I couldn't bear to refuse anymore. After refining Thunder Flame and Tyrannosaurus Rex, he was pleasantly surprised to find that his Silver Thunder had evolved into a Purple Thunder, with an extra trace of Heavenly Tao inside his body. So he flipped through many ancient books and found out that it was actually the top-grade fairy plant Thunder Flame Tyrannosaurus Rex ginseng, which could make his Thunder Spirit root reach a purity level of full. The purity of the spiritual root is at its highest level, which means that one's understanding of cultivation is higher and the speed of cultivation will be faster. There is also the Huangyan Blood Heart Ganoderma in the hands of fourth junior brother, which is also a top-level immortal plant. After taking it, it can evolve into a strange fire, which is a great good thing for fourth junior brother. Fourth junior brother. They came here as if to see fourth junior brother, but they forgot about the main matter. Lu Kanglin looked at the cave entrance. Fourth junior brother has been in for a long time. Should they go in and take a look? But as soon as he thought of Mu Qianjue's bare appearance just now, his eyes lit up with a smile and he decided not to say anything. Let's wait for fourth junior brother to come out on his own. Ning Shiyue listened to Lu Kanglin's words and opened the box sent by Feng Qinran. In an instant, she widened her beautiful eyes, her cheeks slightly bulging. This is the Xianling fruit that I have been searching for. Ning Shiyue closed the box and happily hugged Feng Qinran, spinning in circles. Little junior sister, I love you so much. Ning Shiyue was about to kiss Feng Qinran's face when she was caught on her forehead with one hand. A cold voice came in her ear, fifth senior sister, I'm so scared that my face turns white. Mo Jinghong spoke, and Ning Shiyue had to let go of Feng Qinran. She met Mo Jinghong's smiling eyes and couldn't help but shrink her neck. If we talk about Lingyun Sect, who is she most afraid of? Of course, it's not her master, but her seventh junior brother Mo Jinghong. Although Mo Jinghong ranks 7th, his strength is among the strongest among several disciples, and he is usually cold and aloof. Wait. Cold and aloof. It seems like this to her, but why is it so gentle with my junior sister? Feng Qinran, who had been released, looked bewildered. The warm and fragrant jade was gone like this. Senior brother 7, you seem a bit meddlesome. Hey, senior brother, when did junior brother 7 care so much about people? Bai Liwen bumped into Lu Kanglin's arm and said with a strange expression. Lu Kanglin smiled silently, with a clear and bright gaze. Ah! The constant screams caught the attention of several people, and then Mu Qianjue was heard anxiously saying, hurry up and find the old man to come back. If he doesn't come back, his disciple will go crazy. A few people showed concern on their faces, and it seemed like Mu Qianjue was in such a hurry for the first time. I'll relay the message to Master, Senior Brother 7, go and see Senior Brother 4 first. Lu Kanglin felt a headache, and Master's whereabouts were always unpredictable, so it might take some time to come back. Sure enough, Lu Kanglin had just sent a message to Yi Wentian using a teleportation note, and the other side replied. Senior disciple, I am currently in a secret. Hiccup. Realm, unable to return. Hiccup, please first find Jinghong to handle it. Lu Kanglin's eyebrows twitched and he almost believed it when he stopped burping his wine. Lu Kanglin gritted his head and explained to the few people next to him, Master cannot come back temporarily. What do you think, 7th junior brother? Big senior brother, there's no need to worry. 4th senior brother's life is not in danger. He just suddenly acquired a strange fire and hasn't learned how to control it yet. Once he can control the strange fire, it's okay. Mo Jinghong's picturesque eyes were as deep as an ancient pond. The tense nerves of several people relaxed and Mo Jinghong said it was nothing, so it must be nothing. I don't know what kind of strange fire 4th senior brother is, the whole mountain has been burned bare. Bai Liwen's face was full of curiosity. Fortunately, every mountain has a barrier, otherwise if this fire were to burn, Lingyun Sect would have been destroyed. Mo Jinghong shook his head. There were many levels of abnormal fire, and he dared not make hasty assertions. However, the level of a strange fire that can achieve this power is definitely not inferior. Mu Qianjue must surrender the strange fire on her own so that it can be used by Mu Qianjue. Inside the cave, Mu Qianjue felt a bit overwhelmed when she heard the transmission from Mo Jinghong. All the clothes inside his Sumuru precept were gone, and the flames on his body were burning stronger and stronger. One of the flames playfully jumped back and forth in the cave, and wherever it went, everything turned into ashes. He really wanted to catch it and beat it up at the moment, but junior brother 7 actually asked him to keep this thing for his own use. He even said that if he didn't tame this strange fire, he might never be able to wear clothes in his lifetime. Mu Qianjue sank his mind and sat cross-legged. The strange fire suddenly appeared after he took Huang Yen blood heart G. He was not prepared at all, so he panicked and let the strange fire burn the entire mountain. But since it belongs to him, it must be used by him. Mu Qianjue used all his spiritual power and found that the spiritual platform had expanded several times, like the size of a city. His cultivation, which was originally stuck in the middle stage of the golden elixir, has also loosened slightly, with a faint feeling of wanting to break through. Is this the benefit of abnormal fire? No wonder in this Kyushu continent, anyone who cultivates the fire spirit root has spent their entire life searching for the exotic fire. Mu Qianjue was emitting a strong air pressure all over his body, and his divine sense caught the flame that was darting in the air. A drop of blood from his heart flew into the flame, and the flame showed resistance. Mu Qianjue suppressed the pain emanating from her divine sense and kept trying to subdue the fire spirit. The extraordinary fire that can generate fire spirits is the dream of every alchemist. He must not let go. A powerful spirit can suppress the mischievous fire spirit bit by bit. Hualing felt Mu Qianjue's strength and his resistance gradually dissipated. For a long time, Mu Qianjue sensed an extra thread in her soul and felt a sense of joy in her heart. The contract was successfully concluded. He did not stop there, but instead used the power of the strange fire to break through the barrier of the middle stage of the golden elixir and smoothly enter the later stage of the golden elixir. When Mu Qianjue opened her eyes, all the flames on her body disappeared. He lifted his palm, and a flame obediently floated in his palm. All the problems were solved, and he was about to walk out when a gust of wind blew from outside the cave, suddenly feeling a chill on his body. Mu Qianjue's face turned black and she could only shout towards the outside of the cave, "Seventh junior brother, bring me a set of clothes." Don't ask him why he doesn't need to pass notes, he's just burned out. But when he saw that the person entering was by Li Wenyu, his face became embarrassed again. "Oh, fourth senior brother, you have a good figure. You look really thin when you wear clothes, but you have flesh when you take them off." Bai Liwen whistled as he walked around. "Get lost." Mu Qianjue took the clothes and waved his hand, causing Bai Liwen to fly out and collide with the barrier. Bai Liwen looked bewildered and exclaimed incredulously, "Lie down. Senior brother, we are both in the middle stage of the golden elixir. Why is he so much stronger than me?" It seems that Qian Ju has entered the late stage of the golden elixir, and he is still a double spirit root, so he is definitely stronger than you. Lu Kanglin explained as he looked at Mu Qianjue walking out of the cave. Dugu Jian was slightly surprised. Mu Qianjue had only been in the middle stage of the golden elixir for 3 years, how could she break through so quickly? After entering the golden core, cultivators find it extremely difficult to improve their cultivation. Even the top qualified senior brother took 10 years to transition from the mid to late stages of the golden elixir. Of course, let's not mention Mo Jinghong, a peerless demon. Ning Shiyue walked up to Mu Qianjue and circled around him, her eyes shining brightly. "Fourth senior brother, what kind of miraculous medicine can break through to the later stage? Tell me quickly." Mu Qianjue tapped Ning Shiyue's forehead, opened her folding fan, and a pair of peach blossom eyes captivated her soul. "Your fourth senior brother, I have exceptional talent, and I still need that thing." "Cut it." Ning Shiyue rolled her eyes. "If you don't say it, you won't say it. Sooner or later, it will surpass you." Mu Qianjue walked up to Feng Qingran and rubbed her furry head, "Speaking of which, I have to thank you, junior sister. If junior sister has anything to do in the future, please let me know and I will go through fire and water at any cost." Fourth senior brother said this, "I happen to have something to ask fourth senior brother for." Feng Qingran's small face lit up with a smile. "Junior sister, just say it." Mu Qianjue became interested. No one noticed that Mo Jinghong was looking at Mu Qianjue with a smile on his face. End of this chapter.